Good evening. I would like to call the September 2nd, 2025 Planning Commission meeting to order. Please note this meeting is being hosted through the live stream on the city website and via teleconference via Zoom. I would like to remind the planning commissioners to have their microphones turned on in position so the audience can hear. Director Monique, may we have roll call, please?
Commissioner Worth stated that he would not be present at tonight's meeting. Chair, at the end of roll call, we will need a motion and a second to excuse the absence. Commissioner Viramontes?
Here.
Commissioner Hill?
Here.
Commissioner Barahona?
Here.
Chair Beamsterfer?
Here. Commissioner Barahona, can you please do invocation and flag salute?
Sure. We'll go ahead and do the flag salute first.
Chair, can we, first, can we have a motion in a second to excuse Commissioner Worth's absence for the September, from the September 2nd, 2025 Planning Commission meeting discussion?
I'll make a motion to excuse John Worth's presence here today at this meeting.
I second that motion.
I have a motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Viramontes. We'll do a roll call. Commissioner Viramontes?
Yes.
Commissioner Hill?
Yes.
Commissioner Barahona?
Yes.
Chair Beamsterfer?
Yes.
That motion passes 4-0 to excuse John Worth's absence.
Right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. For the invocation, dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for bringing us together this evening in service to our community of Hemet. We ask for your guidance and wisdom as we consider matters before us. Grant us clarity in our discussions, fairness in our decisions, and respect for one another as we work for the good of all who we call Hemet our home. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Agenda item number 4 is the public comment period for items not on the agenda. Are there any members of the public present that would like to comment on an item not on the agenda or any e-comments?
Chair, there are no public speakers registered for items not on the agenda.
And any e-comments?
No e-comments either.
Thank you. We will now move on with the approval of the minutes. Agenda 5A is the approval minutes for the meeting from August 19, 2025. Does the commission have any comments or corrections?
I have no comments or corrections, but I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of the Planning Commission meeting of August 19, 2025.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Viramontes. We'll do a roll call. Commissioner Viramontes?
Yes.
Commissioner Hill?
Yes.
Commissioner Barahona?
Yes.
Chair Beamsterfer?
Yes.
That motion passes 4-0.
Thank you. Now we have agenda item 6A, which is the conditional use permit modification. Can we have a presentation from the staff?
Good evening, Chair, Commissioners, staff, members of the community. My name's Nathan Morin. I'm Assistant Planner, City of Hemet Community Development. Tonight I will be discussing conditional use permit number 25-003, which will be for grocery outlet for an ABC license upgrade to a Type 21. The applicant on behalf of this project is Rawlings Consulting. The applicant is with us this evening. Property owner is Crossroads Hemet LLC, and the project location is on the east end of Hemet on the northeast corner of Sanderson Avenue and Florida Avenue at 3200 West Florida Avenue. The applicant is requesting approval to modify conditional use permit CUP 19-002 to upgrade a Type 20 alcohol and beverage control license which is the off-sale beer and wine, to a Type 21 license for off-sale beer, wine, and distilled spirits at the Grocery Outlet grocery store. The Planning Commission has the authority to approve a conditional use permit modification pursuant to Section 90-42.9, being as the Planning Commission was the approving authority prior. As well as for alcohol sales in accordance with Hemet Municipal Code Section -90C1, a conditional use permit modification is required per the request by the applicant to upgrade from a Type 20 to a Type 21. This project was publicly noticed on August 8th, 2025 originally. This item was continued to tonight's public hearing because the applicant requested to be present at the public hearing. On August 8th, the city gave public noticing by mailing to property owners and tenants within 500 feet of the subject property, as well as posting in the press enterprise. And before you on the screen is the proof of publication as well as the mailers that were mailed out. Per the City of Hemet Strategic Plan Integration, this meets goal number 2 for economic opportunity. This provides resources to businesses to enhance the customer service experience. Shown before you is an aerial map of the location. Again, it's at the northeast corner of Sanderson Avenue and Florida Avenue in the shops at the Crossroads Shopping Center. The community commercial general plan land use designation, as this project is, provides for general retail markets, commercial services, restaurants, lodging, commercial recreation, professional offices, and financial institutions. As such, the community commercial areas are typically located near residential, office, or industrial activity centers and major arterial corridors, and are designed to serve the needs of the community at large, such as this project does. This project is located in the Crossroads Shopping Center with the general retail markets, commercial services, and restaurants. And the general plan land use of the community commercial is appropriate for the existing grocery store outlet with a Type 20 and for continued business with the Type 21 license. The general commercial C2 zoning district provides appropriate locations for the development of commercial districts having a wide range of ranging from offices, services, retail stores, recreation, and transient accommodations, which this site does. A grocery store with a Type 21 ABS license is appropriate considering people are already purchasing groceries and, if possible, would like to make their shopping trip in one stop rather than in multiple stops. Grocery stores, per the Hemet Municipal Code Section 90-893E9 and Section 90-90E1B, are permitted to sell alcohol. This location historically had a Type 21 license with previous Stater Brothers grocery store since 1981 until Stater Brothers vacated the building and moved across south of Florida Avenue in 2015. The Shops at the Crossroads is an existing shopping center. It is fully developed with existing buildings, curb, gutter, sidewalk, parking, landscaping, and lighting. The project site, as mentioned, is located on the northeast corner of Florida and Sanderson Avenues. Commercial uses existing on site include Steer & Stein, La Michoacana Ice Cream, Raising Cane's, Del Taco, Mattress Firm, Patton's Liquor, Blaze Pizza, Wingstop, The Habit Burger, and others. The LA Fitness and IHOP are located to the north of the site. The Home Depot and Mobile Gas Station are located west of the site across Sanderson Avenue. DaVita Dialysis is located to the east of the site, and Stater Brothers is located to the south across Florida Avenue in the Village West Shopping Center. I'd like to point out that all businesses in this location are all zoned C2, general commercial. I'd like to provide a little background on the previous conditional use permit. On March 19, 2019, the Planning Commission approved conditional use permit 19-002 and made a finding of public convenience or necessity to allow for alcohol sales for off-site consumption as required by ABC for a 24,000 square foot grocery outlet grocery store located at 3200 West Florida Avenue. The Planning Commission's approval of the CUP 19-002 was for a Type 20 and also for a Type 21 license. Pursuant to ABC regulations at the time, the applicant may only hold one off-sale license at the time, but they applied nonetheless for both. While awaiting the ABC's decision on a lottery system to issue a Type 28 license to the applicant, a Type 21 license was obtained by Grocery Outlet. The applicant, however, was unsuccessful in obtaining a Type 21 by the lottery and has continued to operate with a Type 20 since 2019. Grocery Outlet intended to operate with a Type 20 license until a Type 21 was issued, at which time they would have surrendered the Type 20 license. At the time of CUP 19-002, application processing, ABC offered the lottery system for businesses to obtain it at a lower cost than if purchased at market rate from ABC. Grocery Outlet, as I mentioned, was not successful, so they continued to operate with the Type 20. Grocery Outlet, as stated prior, is now seeking a Type 21 ABC license for the 3200 West Florida Avenue location. Grocery Outlet qualifies as a grocery store per the Hemet Municipal Code Section 90-893E9 and operates between the hours of 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. However, they are below the minimum 25,000 square foot threshold, which is what brings us here tonight. For the exemption for them, they would need an additional 600 square feet, which they do not have. Per the Hemet Municipal Code Section 90-90E1B, grocery stores with at least 25,000 square foot floor area that devotes less than 5% of their floor area to the off-sale of alcohol beverages are exempt from the need to obtain approval entirely of a conditional use permit for an ABC license. The gross square footage of the grocery outlet is, as stated, 24,400 square feet, with 13,823 square feet dedicated to floor sales area. They will be providing 670.32 square feet of the total sales floor area, or 4.74% of the 5% allowed to alcohol sales, which is, again, below the 5%. I prepared a comparison for you. Previously, under conditional use per 19-002, Grocery Outlet had 660 square feet of 13,823 sales floor area for alcohol sales at 4.66% of total floor area. Their new proposal is an increase of 10.32 square feet, or 0.08%. Before you is an image of the Census Tract 43.5.03. ABC currently only permits 2 off-sale licenses in the Census Tract. They are over-concentrated, as you can see before you, with 4 Type 20 and 4 Type 21 ABC licenses. Should the Planning Commission approve this request, doing so will not increase the total number of licenses within the Census Tract. I did reach out to the California Department of Alcohol, Beverage, and Control Riverside District Office, and they determined that a PCN is not required because they will be forfeiting their Type 20 license upon receiving a Type 21 license. I reached out to Hemet Police Department as well and requested calls for service for the 3200 West Florida block from July 1st, 2023 to July 1st, 2025, and there were 60 calls total reported, only 1 of which was for public intoxication. The majority of them were for traffic incidents. On March 14, 2023, the City Council approved ordinance number 2009, adding Section 90-60 and revising Section 90-90. The deemed approved alcohol use nuisance regulations provided a process by which to develop and implement an education and outreach program to educate deemed approved alcohol and tobacco retail users. But the steps each use may take to operate as a good neighbor in the community. Ordinance 2009 provides opportunities for businesses that sell alcohol beverages to operate in a mutually beneficial relationship to each other and to other commercial and civic services while maintaining their approved status. This also includes new alcohol retailers that are subject to the following performance criteria, shown before you. The staff report went into much more detail about each of these 10 listed, but I can say that Grocery Outlet is meeting these requirements. This brings us to the conditional use permit findings. As shown before you, Grocery Outlet, to obtain their Type 21 license for the conditional use permit modification, must meet the following 4 requirements for the modification findings, and I can say confidently that they do meet all of these requirements. If you would like more discussion on this during the discussion, we can go into more detail. The staff report has the detail regarding these findings. As for alcohol sales findings pursuant to Hemet Municipal Code Section 90-90F, Grocery Outlet is meeting the minimum distance requirements for distances from K through 12 schools, public parks, places of worship, as well as for residential and as well as for existing parolee, probationer homes, emergency shelters, supportive housing, or transitional housing. And I'd like to point out these findings were made prior during conditional use permit 19-002 as well. For alcohol sales findings continued for 90-90F 2, 3, and 4, I can say confidently that they also meet these findings as well, as discussed in the staff report as well. This project is exempt from CEQA in accordance with California Environmental Quality Act Section 15301, Class 1 existing facilities. It is respectfully recommended that the Planning Commission adopt Planning Commission resolution approving conditional use permit modification CUP 25-003 and subject to the conditions of approval, and to direct staff to file a notice of exemption with the county clerk. Thank you. That's my presentation.
Thank you very much, Nathan. Does the commissioners have any questions for staff? We can start off with.
Yeah, I got a couple
Mr.
questions. Did any of the surrounding businesses reach out when you gave that notice?
I did not hear any correspondence.
Okay. And second question, I see here under the police department condition 24, they're gonna, I'm not sure if there's already one, but you know, like the security, the parking lot security, like I guess spotlight that Walmart has. Are they planning on putting those at the Grocery Outlet parking lot?
Not to my knowledge, no.
No. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Nathan, thank you for that. I don't have any questions for you, but I do have a question for the applicant when they do get up. Appreciate the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't have any questions at this time.
Thank you.
Did they give you any display pictures as to how they're going to display the Type 21 hard liquor alcohol? Because I know like Stater Brothers are a lot of them behind locked glass door now, and liquor stores are behind the counters. They're harder to get to, and we got a lot of theft going on in this town. So have they given you any pictures as to how they're going to be displaying this?
No, the applicant did not.
Okay, I think they should probably, in my opinion, in the condition add that they are either locked and have to require an employee to open it up to gain access, because I think they'll get a lot of theft, people stealing bottles left and right from that place.
And this is specifically for the liquor,
For the hard liquor.
for the hard liquor.
I know like the wines and stuff, other stores don't, the wine you can get to, the beers you can get to, but it's the hard liquor is what they have locked up in some, not all of them, but some of them are the more valuable ones. I just think they should probably apply that to Grocery Outlet as well. Stater Brothers and Winco and all the other stores are doing the same. Any other questions?
No.
All right, thank you. With that, we're going to go ahead and open up a public hearing. And that's for the applicant to approach the podium.
Hey, good evening.
How you doing?
Hi, my name is Steve Rawlings. I am a consultant to Grocery Outlet stores. I assist them with permits necessary to sell alcohol at all their stores here in the state of California. So, good evening. For the record, we concur with the staff's recommendation and do agree to all of the draft conditions of approval as presented this evening. As you're aware, this is our second store. Well, we have two stores here in Hemet. Our other store does sell, has a full line of alcohol, and we would certainly like to have the opportunity to sell that here at this particular store. Most of our stores do have a full line of alcohol. Those that do not, sometimes it's just that it's cost prohibitive to purchase that license, which is a Type 21 license. So those stores don't have it, mostly because of the expense on that. We have really appreciated the business here in the city of Hemet. We feel like we've developed a really loyal following of a customer base. Really happy we have two stores here in the community. We think we've done an excellent job about offering value, but we've also done an excellent job, I think, in being good stewards with the sale of alcohol. Every retailer is challenged with shrinkage, i.e. It's shoplifting, and we certainly monitor that as closely as we possibly can. An interesting thing about grocery outlets is that the person that's operating the store, they're not necessarily just an employee like a general manager might be. They actually have a vested interest. They actually own part of the profits of the store. It's kind of a partnership type of situation, and we call them operators. The reason I point that out is many of these operators typically live right here in the area. But quite honestly, they're at their stores like 16 hours a day, 6 days a week. These people, this is their livelihood. It's their business, and they treat it as such. And with that, I'd like to point that out because those owners really watch shoplifting and what's going on in their parking lots, because if you don't have a safe environment, people just don't come to your stores. So we try to be, our operators, especially this one at this store, are very proactive with watching what's going on there. And if there is some activity that's going on that appears to be not so good, we certainly don't hesitate to call law enforcement. We've been fortunate. We have not seen a lot of shoplifting out of this particular store. Yes, it happens, but we certainly have done a very good job about that. So when it comes to, to your point about our display of hard alcohol, almost all of our stores do display it just like we do wine out there. And there have been occasions in which some of the operators have certainly made the choice to lock that product if they are starting to see some of those issues there. And we would certainly ask the commission to give some consideration to allow us to kind of monitor our own shoplifting, and if it becomes a problem, we certainly will take action to prevent that. We don't like anything to walk out the door. There's also another product line that needs to be addressed that is in the distilled spirits category, and that's what they call these ready-to-drink beverages. We're all familiar with the seltzers, White Claws, Trulies. They have all come out with products called like White Claw Lime Margarita or Truly Vodka Soda. And guess what? They actually have a distilled spirit ingredient in them. Now, most of these products have a pretty low alcohol by volume. Like the Truly Vodka Soda is like 5% alcohol by volume, which is no different than a beer. However, ABC sees it that, hey, it's got a distilled spirit, so you have to have a Type 21 license to sell that particular product. So while we certainly do sell bottles of distilled spirits, that's also another important component to us, because in the alcohol industry, that is by far and away the most popular products on the market right now are these ready to drink. So that's part of the driver on that. And that would be a product that we would want to be able to inventory out on the shelf and not have that be locked up. That's for sure. So with that said, we appreciate your consideration on this. I think we've proven ourselves to be a great operator, great supermarket, and we certainly hope that you'll support our request for a Type 21. And with that, I'm available for any questions.
Yeah, I am a huge fan of Grocery Outlet. I go to that one weekly, I'd say, right there by the Canes. Your other location by that Planet Fitness, are there like certain sizes you guys sell? Like, do you sell the little vodka sizes, like the little like travel sizes?
No, we sell the 750 milliliter bottles is what they're, we don't dedicate a lot of space. We came forward, we're asking for an extra 10 square feet. Typically all we've done is we've replaced like 2 or 3 shelving units of wine with the distilled spirits. And no, we do not engage in selling the airlines. It's the larger bottles.
Okay, that's great to hear. I guess those security like hard cabinets. Do you guys plan like at least I'm putting like security caps? I don't know if you've been to Winco, but they have those little like alarm beeper ones. that
That's
go on
not
top.
something that we have done in any of our stores. Again, we are very conscientious about shoplifting. And if that product starts to leave, we've had many operators that have installed like kind of a locking cabinet because again, we don't want it to leave. And in this particular store, according to the operator, we haven't had a lot of theft of alcohol. Of course, yes, there has been some, certainly, but not something where it's rampant, where they're always worried about it.
All right, thank you, Steve.
Mr. Rawlings, thank you for being here tonight and representing the applicant. On behalf of the applicant, is the applicant willing to live with all of the conditions for alcohol sales criteria, specifically, public consumption, open containers, and especially the graffiti thing?
Yes.
And have you had a history of remediation with graffiti and some of these other issues with alcohol sales?
That's a condition of approval that's very common in many, many communities. And yes, we've had to, graffiti occurs, and yes, it is our responsibility to get it taken down. We do have, obviously, we're part of a shopping center, and we certainly will agree to it because it is the condition of approval, but sometimes it's a little bit, it's difficult for us to have to go clean it up when it's like clear on the other side of the shopping center. It really didn't have anything to do with our, particular operation. But we do, obviously everybody pays into a common area maintenance fund, and it kind of is everybody's responsibility. But we police, we monitor what's going on, and we know one thing: hey, graffiti scares customers away. There's no question about that. So we like to think that we're pretty diligent about taking care of that.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you.
I don't have any questions at this time.
Okay, I don't have any questions at the moment. It's more discussion than anything. Other than that, no other questions for the applicant? No. Okay,
Terrific. Thank you very much.
thank you very much, sir. Any other public comments or e-comments?
Chair, there are no other public comments.
All right, with that, we're going to go and close public comment and open up for discussion. I was just suggesting the whole locked up hard liquor doesn't have to be, but I just see other stores doing it, and it's just a safety precaution for on their finance side of it. People start stealing bottles, but it's just a suggestion. I mean,
Yep. And I see the applicant wanting to monitor that themselves, and, that's certainly up to them.
give them a benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think my biggest concern would be the liquor store right next door, Patton's Liquor. I think, based on Google, they've been there for 43 years. So I'm just nervous that maybe grocery, they would have to lower their, I'm afraid grocery outlet would undercut them, so to speak. And then we have another empty building. But I'm not sure, if most of their sales come from liquor at Patton's. That would be my only hesitation. But other than that, I think it's fine.
I know, like, grocery outlet tend to have some of the off-brand in many ways. They don't
They do.
have, like, the common everyday beers you go in the store and find. There's some unique ones and things like that. I think their display is not going to be anywhere in, like, competition to the liquor store next door. 'Cause I know his whole wall is hard liquor. And he's got
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff.
That's true.
So I don't think grocery outlet will maybe get maybe 10% of that
Okay.
Yeah.
business.
I think grocery outlet probably would be more inclined to offer the bigger bottles, more economic, whereas the liquor store is
The
smaller,
tiny ones, yeah.
more
All right.
boutique.
Well, if everybody agrees with these conditions of use, may I have a motion?
I motion to adopt Planning Commission Resolution Exhibit 1A approving conditional use permit 25-003 and a subject to conditions of approval Exhibit 1B, which are attached hereto and incorporated herein by reference, and direct staff to file a notice of exemption with the county clerk.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Viramontes, second by Commissioner Hill. We'll do a roll call. Commissioner Viramontes,
Yes.
Commissioner Hill,
Yes.
Commissioner Barahona,
Yes.
Chair Beamsdorfer.
Yes.
That motion passes 4-0.
All right, we'll now move on to public hearing item 7A with the administrative use permit and lot line adjustment with Dosner's Organic Farms. And Nathan, we'll have you present it.
Good evening again, Chair, Commissioners, staff, and members of the community. My name is Nathan Morin, Assistant Planner here at City of Hemet Community Development. Tonight I will be presenting Administrative Use Permit 24-001 and Lot Line Adjustment 24-002 for the Dosner Organic Farms project. The applicant is Heron and Rumenzoff Architects Incorporated, which the applicant is present tonight. Property owner SILMJ Properties LLC. Owner is also present tonight. Project location is at 630 West Latham Avenue between Devonshire Avenue, Tockwitz Avenue, and Gilbert Street. Tonight's request, the applicant is requesting approval of an administrative use permit 24-001 to establish a distribution and packing facility to process organic herbs such as basil and mint and others grown in the San Jacinto Valley and regionally, and a lot line adjustment, LLA 24-002, to merge 8 parcels. The Planning Commission has the authority to approve administrative use permits pursuant to Section 90-43A of the Hemet Municipal Code. The Community Development Director has the authority to designate the Planning Commission responsible for the review and approval of administrative use permits. Approval of administrative use permit is subject to the findings in Section 90-43.5. For the lot line adjustment lot merger, pursuant to Section 70-101B of the Hemet Municipal Code, the Community Development Director has the authority to approve a lot line adjustment or lot merger. The Community Development Director deferred the decision to the Planning Commission because of a condition approval for the administrative use permit per Public Works Engineering Department. Approval of a lot line adjustment lot merger is subject to findings in Section 70-101 A through F. On October 21st of 2025, a public notice was published in the Press Enterprise. On also August 21st, 2025, the city also gave public notice by mailing to property owners as well as the tenants within 500 feet of the subject property, parcel boundaries of the holding of a public hearing at which the project would be considered by the Planning Commission. And before you is the proof of publication in the Press Enterprise as well as the mailer that was mailed out to the occupants and the property owners. Per the city's strategic plan integration, this meets goal 1 for quality of life, which is to enhance the visual appearance of the community, make it attractive and reduce blight. This project is an infill project and lots and provides an attractive business and service to the community. Goal 2 for economic opportunity. The objective is provides resources for new businesses to enhance the customer service experience. Before you is an aerial map showing the Dosner Organic Farms project site. As you see before you, there is an existing building, and part of the site is an undeveloped site. The undeveloped site will be including parking and landscaping and other, as I will go into later. But is to the east of the project, you have Gilbert Street. To the west of the project, you have Tockwitz Avenue. To the north, you have Devonshire Avenue. and to the south is Latham Avenue. The subject property is designated as office professional in the Hemet General Plan designation. The office professional designation provides for business, professional, government, and medical offices and educational institutions. Ancillary and limited support commercial uses are also permitted uses. The office professional areas are typically located near residential, office, or industry activity centers or major arterial corridors. I would like to point out this project is within about 1,600 feet of State Street and less than a quarter mile from Florida Avenue. The office professional zone provides appropriately located areas for professional administrative offices and personal services and other ancillary uses for businesses. The proposed distribution and processing facility for organic herbs is a permitted use subject to an administrative use permit. The conditions of approval shall ensure that the use and operation is consistent with the zoning general plan goals and policies. The project site as shown before you, as mentioned, there is 8 parcels here, as at 630 West Latham Avenue, between Tockwitz Avenue, Gilbert Street, and Devonshire Avenue. Currently, the site is a 2.87 acre site that has an existing 26,248 square foot 2-story building that was previously used as a church. West of the project is the La Famosa Market and R3 multifamily residential developed lots. North of the project is the Springwood Square Professional Center, Inland Oral Surgery and Implant Center, and R16 single-family residential homes that face Devonshire Avenue. East of the project is the Cooper Physical Therapy and single-family residential homes, specifically on the edge of the downtown Hemet specific plan. This project is just outside of it by being across the street. South of the project is an R1-6 single-family residential homes, which is facing Latham Avenue. Dosner Organic Farms is a certified organic global food safety packing house and distribution center that will operate from Monday to Saturday and be closed on Sundays. Hours of operations will be from 1 a.m. to 5 p.m. and employ approximately 50 to 60 people full-time, with 4 differing shifts having approximately 10 to 15 employees per shift. Employees will repack fresh organic herbs and specialty produce year-round into bags or clamshells depending on the preference of their business partner. Per the business plan, approximately 70% of the outbound orders will deliver the products to Los Angeles International Airport for distribution nationwide. Truck deliveries of local and California state-grown produce will begin at 2 a.m. and conclude at 4 p.m. daily. Local suppliers will also make deliveries to the site, and local customers may pick up directly from the site. During the holiday season, Dosner Organic Farms anticipates hiring up to 25 additional employees for seasonal work in the packing house facility. Excuse me a moment. The scope of work will include a parking area expansion, a 6-foot wrought iron fence with powered sliding gates, parking lot and street frontage landscaping, 2 drainage infiltration basins, and tenant improvement of an existing 26-foot high 2-story building on a 2.87 acre site. Approval and administrative use permit is required for the applicant to operate the proposed organic plant warehouse operation. The project will include 64 off-street parking spaces. 33 parking stalls will be added of the undeveloped site east of the existing building, which total 64 parking spaces for the operations. In addition, a new 30-foot wide drive aisle approach and drive entrance will be constructed for the trucks for inbound and outbound services. A new trash enclosure will be constructed per the city standard to include 2 waste dumpsters and 1 recycling dumpster at the current trash enclosure location, as shown at the west entrance that's existing. The new trash enclosure will be removing some parking, but it will also be supplemented with the new additional parking on the undeveloped part of the parcel. The existing building has 2 floors. 10 improvements on the first floor will include the remodeling of the interior to include 6 offices, 1 receptionist area, 3 storage rooms, 1 dry storage room, 1 dry warehouse, 1 janitor's room, 1 mixed herbs room that will be cool between 35 to 51 degrees, 1 basil room that will be cool between 48 to 50 degrees, 1 loading dock staging area, 1 packing room, 2 women's and men's restrooms, 1 pre-cooling room, 1 electrical room, mechanical room as well. Existing walk-in freezer will be used. There will be a lunchroom as well. As shown before you is the architecture of the building. Very little changes are being proposed for this tenant improvement. What you see before you facing on the east side will be the addition of 2 loading dock areas to the site for the inbound and outbound processes. And the west side of the building will include an additional 9 new windows for natural lighting opportunity. 5 of the windows will be installed to allow natural light in a first floor office and the dry storage room. And 4 new windows will be installed to allow natural light on the second floor storage area. The north and the south elevations as shown before you are not changing at all. Regional access will be provided via State Route 74, highway, which is, of course, Florida Avenue, which connects to Interstate 215 to the west and State Route 79 and I-10 to the north. Truck, passenger, and emergency vehicle access will be provided by 2 gated access driveways along Latham Avenue. The existing driveway and the new driveway gates will provide a Knox box, key switch, or padlock to allow emergency vehicles access to the site at any time of day or night. The existing driveway is a 25-foot wide driveway that is located on the southwest portion of the site. The southwestern driveway will be used primarily for employee and visitor vehicle access and to pick up for trash services for CR&R. The proposed site plan, as mentioned, will also include a new 30-foot wide driveway and drive approach that is located on the southeast portion of the site, where it is currently undeveloped. The southwestern driveway will be used primarily the new driveway will be used primarily for the box truck access and semi-trailer trucks, as well as for employee and visitor vehicle access and for trash pickup services by CR&R. Latham Avenue is designated as a collector to you in the general plan with a 64-foot to 74-foot right-of-way and a 44-foot curb-to-cut street width. Truck trips to and from Dosmer Organic Farms on Latham Avenue will be conveyed again to State Route 79 and State Route 74 by State Street, which is approximately 1,600 feet from the site heading to the east. I'd like to point out, previously there was a parking agreement that existed between the former owners of parcel 443-181034, which is the parcel with the existing building on it. That's currently owned by the SILMJ Properties, LLC. And the former owner of property 443-184-009, now currently owned by Springwood Square Professional Center. The agreement was originally for reciprocal access. The property with the existing building, the drive approach allowed access to the rear parking area for the property to the north, which is now owned by Springwood Square Professional Center. The original owners made an agreement on March 20th in 1980, and the agreement has stood since. It was used as originally intended to be a continuous driveway that would connect between Latham Avenue and Devonshire Avenue. However, those plans never saw its fruition, so just continued the access agreement between two properties. For this project, Dawson Organic Farms is terminating the access and drainage agreement to install a loading dock with walls to secure the loading dock area at the northeast corner of their property. In addition, Dawson Organic Farms will be installing a 6-foot wrought iron gate on the property line across that easement to accommodate for the loss of parking per the previous access and drainage agreement. Dawson Organic Farms will be installing a 20 width drive aisle on the parcel to the north, which is parcel 443-184-009, along the shared border between the parcels. They will be reducing the parking on that parcel by 4 spaces, but the parcel nonetheless has more than plenty of parking spaces. The owner of parcel 443-184-009 will be responsible to construct a new trash enclosure to the city standards. Dawson Organic Farms and the owner of the parcel to the north have a written signed agreement for the proposed on-site changes between these two parcels. The proposed project includes ornamental landscaping of approximately 6,010 square feet on site, with 1,954 square feet in the right-of-way, totaling 7,964 square feet of landscaping. The landscaping will cover approximately 6.3% of the project site. As shown before you are images of the plants that will be planted on site. There will be 15 bay laurel trees, 3 pink catalpa trees, 3 fruitless olive trees. In total, there's going to be 21 new trees provided. 18 of these trees will be evergreen trees, and 3 of these trees will be hybrid deciduous trees. The proposed shrubs and perennials included 304 of the coyote bush, 46 of the red yucca, 25 of the green Texas Ranger, 148 of the little red flax, and 18 of the dwarf bottle brush. In addition, there will be a vine planted, known as the cat's claw vine. There will be 2 of these planted on site, and there will also be a medium forest blend of wood mulch spread to a 3-inch depth in the planting areas. Conditions of approval shall require parking lot landscaping to a minimum of 5% of the parking area with live plants. This project more than meets those minimum requirements. The proposed project incorporates 2 driveway gates and perimeter security fencing using 6-foot black wrought iron. The west side fence is existing, 4-foot high block wall with a mix of chain link and black wrought iron that will continue at a 6-foot height that separates the rear wall of the building from a 15-foot side yard and Dosner's part of their yard, and a 25-foot drive aisle to carports for residences on the property next to them to the west. In total, the approximate distance of separation is 65 to 70 feet from building to building. On parcel 443-18404, which includes the existing building, a 6-foot wrought iron fence with a 4-foot wide gate currently exists on the south side facing of this property and will continue to be used. In addition, there's also a 25-foot, 6-foot black wrought iron gate that currently exists on the existing drive approach, and that will continue to be used as well. As for new fencing, the applicant will install, again, 6-foot high black wrought iron fencing along the street frontage of the parcels that are currently undeveloped, which are parcels 443-18142 and 051, which are the parcels that are part of the lot merger. On parcel 443-181-051, if you can make out the detail next to the drainage basin to the south on the image, there will also be the new drive approach with a 30-foot wide gate for security purposes. We'll have a Knox box as well. Approximately half of the parcel of 443-181-051 will be used for Dawson Organic Farms' currently proposed operations, and the other half of parcel 051 will be used for the infiltration drainage basin. The northeast section of parcel 443-181-051, I'd like to point out, in the far northeast corner, has a shared parking between the owners of Dawson Organic Farms and the Trutali, Darren, David Day, Craig, and Ashley. Owners Trutali, Darren, David Day, Craig C., and Ashley of that parcel are currently using parking spaces that are located on Dawson Organic Farms' owned property. The owner of Dawson Organic Farms did correspond with the project property owners and did inform them of the potential project, and did inform them that they can continue to use the property for parking as they've been using for years. I will keep this brief. The biological report has found the study show that there's currently no loss of habitat is expected to occur from the combining of the smaller parcels into one parcel. Per condition of approval number 20, it is required to perform all future clearing, grubbing, tree trimming, and tree removal activities only outside of bird nesting season, which is February 15th to August 31st, in order to comply with the Migratory Bird Treaty Act and California Department of Fish and Wildlife Code regulations. In addition, per condition number 21, the project is conditioned to include that if any ground disturbance occurs other permits are applied for additional analysis by a pre-construction clearance survey no more than 30 days prior to any future ground disturbing project-related activities to better ensure impacts to burrowing owls are reduced is required. Overall, the project will not result in significant impacts to natural resources under the California Environmental Quality Act. As for the geotechnical report, based on the results of Sladden Engineering's investigation, it is their professional opinion that the project should be feasible from a geotechnical perspective, provided that the recommendations in this report are incorporated into design and carried out through construction. As for trip generation and vehicle miles traveled, a trip generation analysis was prepared to determine the estimated traffic to be generated by the proposed project. The trip generation estimates are based on the Institute of Transportation Engineers Trip Generation Manual 11th edition, trip generation rates for ITE Category 110 General Light Industrial. For this project, passenger vehicles and truck mix assumptions were applied to the project land uses based on the ITE trip generation rates from comparable surveyed sites in the 1980s, the 2000s, and the 2010s. In Colorado, Connecticut, Indiana, New Jersey, New York, Oregon, Pennsylvania, and Texas as well. Per the Riverside County's Transportation Analysis Guidelines for level of service, vehicle miles traveled, states that a traffic analysis is not required for any use, which can demonstrate that it is a less than significant impact, which this project was determined to have a less than significant impact based upon trip generation and vehicle miles traveled. The project is estimated to generate 142 daily trips with 19 passenger car equivalent trips, 17 inbound and 2 outbound. In the morning peak hour between 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. and 14 peak passenger car equivalent trips for 2 inbound and 12 outbound in the evening peak hours. 6 of the 142 daily trips are anticipated to be truck trips solely, but not occurring during the peak hours. The following guidelines are provided to determine if a project is presumed to cause a less than significant impact. This project is considered a general light industrial building because it's less than 179,000 square feet, and the project greenhouse gas emissions are less than 3,000 metric tons of carbon dioxide equivalent. Based upon these determinations, this is a less than significant impact. For grading and drainage, the new improvements will have impervious area in excess of 5,000 square feet, making it a priority project. Relative to WQMP requirements, the site naturally drains to the north currently, and the proposed improvements will honor that drainage pattern as well. As for the noise study, the impacts on this project were determined to be less than significant. During the nighttime hours, the project will be conditioned to include flaggers instead of using backup beepers for trucks to further reduce the noise. As you can see before you, the area in the darkest shade is the largest decibel rating, but is still below the maximum threshold for the city's general plan. I added the air quality greenhouse gas study to this just to make the findings brief. The project construction and operational source emissions will not exceed applicable localized significance thresholds per SCAQMD, the South Coast Air Quality Management District, and it's considered to be impacts less than significant. This project meets the requirements of the airport land use compatibility. This existing building applies with ALUX requirements and is consistent in compliance with the current Hemet Municipal Code. This building is below the maximum height by the maximum allowed height is 40 feet. This building is currently 26 feet and has no plans to increase the height. As for the administrative use permit findings, these findings were all found to be made substantial. I will spare you the time, and the staff report goes into more detail regarding these findings, but these findings I can confidently say have all been met. Shown before you is the lot line adjustment plat map. In red is what the Dawson Organic Farms will be merging as one parcel. Next to you is the plat map, in which was submitted for review by the engineering division. For the lot line adjustment findings, this project has been able to meet all of the findings per the requirements. Of Hemet Municipal Code Section 70-101. If you'd like to go into more detail during the discussion, we can, but the findings are presented in the staff report in detail. This project is exempt from CEQA in accordance with the California Environmental Quality Act, Section 15301, Class 1 for existing facilities, as well as the project is exempt from CEQA in accordance with this California Environmental Quality Act, Section 15332, Class 32 infill development projects. It is respectfully recommended that the Planning Commission adopt Planning Commission Resolution approving Administrative Use Permit 24-001 and Lot Line Adjustment 24-002, subject to conditions of approval and development plans, and to direct staff to file a notice of exemption with the county clerk. Before we open discussion, I'd like to have a few housekeeping items. The applicant did request the removal of condition number 9. A memo has been prepared for you tonight, and the plant staff is agreeable to removal of this condition. And in addition, I'd like to point out condition 89. In my staff report, I did write that this project does not require street improvements. This project, however, does per Public Works and Engineering Department, and I want to give the applicant an opportunity to at least have a opportunity to comment on this if they have any concerns or questions regarding this condition number 89. But thank you, that's my presentation.
Thank you very much, Nathan, for that presentation. Just giving the commissioners a little bit, just to review this document real quick.
Can we ask Nathan to kind of explain this in summary?
Yeah,
Condition number 9.
can we have staff kind of go and explain this a little bit?
Oh, yes. Thank you.
What are they asking for?
So condition number 9, condition that they can only use 26-foot long box trucks
Okay.
originally for this project. And then it was brought to my attention by the applicant that this project will in fact need semi-trailer trucks for their operations. Albeit with the vehicle miles traveled and the trip analysis, there will only be a total of 6 trucks for the operations on a given day. Staff was able to determine that these changes wouldn't have any substantial impacts or any foreseeable long-term negative impacts.
So condition 9 limits them to the 26-foot box trucks, but they want to do away with that because they're going to have larger trucks come in.
Correct.
Semi-
There will be larger
Okay.
trucks as well as the 26-foot box trucks.
Gotcha.
And the circulation meets all the guidelines with a semi-truck versus a 26-foot?
Correct, yes.
Commissioners have questions for staff?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so my question was gonna be if they were aware of condition number 9, because all the drawings show semi-trucks, and you had mentioned semi-trucks, and condition 9 said no semi-trucks. So I would say, do you know what route these semi-trucks plan to take? Are they gonna take Chambers Street off of State, or are they gonna go down to Devonshire?
The planned route would be to go on-site from State Street down Latham, from State down Latham heading to the west, on-site to the property to do the inbound-outbound exchange, and then leave again to the east, heading back down Latham Avenue and back to State Street, and then back to Florida Avenue.
State Street and Latham, don't they run parallel to each other?
No.
No? Okay.
Yeah,
All
State
right.
Street runs north to south, Latham runs east to west.
Gotcha, okay. Yeah, I guess my only question was the semi-trucks. I guess okay, thank you.
Mhm.
You good?
Yeah.
Thank you, Nathan, for that presentation. Good job, by the way.
Thank you.
So public notice. You sent the public notice out. I didn't hear any feedback one way or the other. Did you get any feedback whatsoever with the public notice?
I have not heard any directly from the community. It would appear that there is a community here tonight, but no, I did not have any directly.
Okay, well, they'll get their chance. So usually when we have a commercial building and a commercial business across the street from residences, we usually talk about mitigating, headlights from the trucks going into the residences and noise reduction. I don't know if you can put the plot map back up and where it shows the residents across the street from the business.
Sure.
Is this I wonder if this is a concern. That's my question. I think you have a better picture that shows the kind of a higher level view of where the business is. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
So you've got residences across the street. The parking lot. So the loading docks are in that gray area in the middle?
The loading docks are located on the northeast part of the building.
Yeah.
If you look towards the north, very far.
Yeah, what's north-south? I'm.
So north would be facing Devonshire, which
Okay, which is what?
Behind the building.
behind the building.
North is behind the building.
The loading docks are on the east side of the building, at the very north property line. So that drive aisle, just all the way to the back. And there'll be, there's only 2 loading docks proposed on the east side of that building.
Okay. And that parking lot looks like, where the trucks are coming in and out. I mean, they are right across, the residences there are right across the street. And I would like to see some sort of mitigation to, lights coming into the residences there. And typically, other applicants have done it with landscaping. You know what I'm saying? Either fencing or landscaping, something to break up those lights coming into the residences' windows. And
There will be on-site landscaping provided with trees and bushes as well.
yeah, but is it laid out so that it's going to mitigate this issue? That's my question. And maybe the applicant can talk a little bit about that when they come up too, if they're willing to.
Could you perhaps give me a scenario to kind of get an idea of what you're referring to?
Like a row of cypress trees or something like that.
And so this would be when the trucks are coming to leave the site? to
Well,
head
the
south
trucks
back onto
come in,
Latham?
they drive around, their headlights, the cab is moving this way and that way. So it's they're coming in and out and driving around in the parking lot and getting positioned for the loading dock, and, you know, their headlights come right in. And hours of operation are early morning,
Mm-hmm.
right? So they're going to be in the dark, and it's a concern that we usually have for this kind of situation. And I'm just bringing that up, and I'd like to see some sort of mitigation there.
So a shielded landscaping.
So-
Landscaping, a wall. I hear wrought iron fence, but the wrought iron fence is not going to mitigate too much unless it's got,
Vines or something.
Yes,
unless it's solid, but I doubt if it's solid.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chair, yeah, and Commissioner Hill, we certainly can add a condition of approval and work with the applicant to provide additional buffering along the street frontage
Okay.
for
That would-
landscaping,
That would work,
for
yeah.
headlight spillage, yes.
Okay, thank you. You know, the other thing is, I'm a little confused. And Nathan, I'm going to point this to your director, Monique. This is CEQA, this is exempt from CEQA, yet you gave us all the CEQA reports and analysis and the findings and your presentation and the whole thing. And I'm kind of wondering, how did that happen?
This is one of those unique CEQA exemptions. When you have a property, it's an infill exemption. It's the class 15332 exemption, which for properties that are less than 5 acres, if we can make the findings that it's consistent with our general plan and zoning, as well as, you know, it cannot be more than 5 acres in total, that there would be no value or habitat for endangered or rare threatened species, which we determined that, and that it would not result in any significant effects on traffic, noise, air, and water quality. So with those environmental determinations, and as well as that the site can be served adequately by utilities and public services. So with those findings that we're able to make, we were be able to ascertain that it is in compliance with the CEQA exemption for infill projects. There was an additional exemption because the building is already there.
Yeah.
It's an existing, that is also 15301 Class 1 existing facility. So that is why this is brought to you with those additional studies.
I know, I got that. I'm just confused why all that data was put in there. Doesn't mean, I mean, it's exempt, so we can't lean on it. So Nathan, thank you. Good presentation. I think you've answered my questions.
Thank you.
I just have one question for clarification. This memo states that the hours of operation is from 1 a.m. to 5 a.m., and I thought I heard in your presentation 1 a.m. to 5 p.m.
So the hours are from 1 a.m. to 5 p.m.
to 5 p.m.
1 a.m. to 5 a.m. would be the approximate hours for the semi-trailer trucks specifically.
Oh, okay, okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Oh, no other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan. I do have just a couple of questions. One of them is, I believe you guys have something in the condition of backup beeps require flaggers during the early morning hours. Is that just somebody flagging a truck going backwards because it's dark, or are they trying to remove the silent beep for noise, or what's that mean?
So for this condition, between the hours of 10 p.m. to 7 a.m., trucks are not permitted to use their backup beeper. Typically, most logistics facilities will have a backup sensor going off. At these hours, this project will not be allowed to use a backup beeper, so they'll have instead somebody flagging the project, flagging the drivers in and out of the site, so there's no additional noise.
There's no OSHA issues with that?
No.
Let's see here.
To further clarify that was also a recommendation by our consultant who reviewed the technical studies as well, to include a noise requirement to add beepers to the truck, to not allow trucks to include beepers during the nighttime hours of operation.
Okay. And then you just mentioned the truck routes. I'm just bouncing off of Commissioner Viramontes. Truck route is from State to Latham, and then from Latham back to State. That's what the semi-trucks are using?
Correct, yeah. They'll be coming in off of State from Florida, or even State Street itself, coming from, we'll say, Lambs Canyon, Highway 79. And then they will be making a turn to the west from State onto Latham Avenue to the site, and then leaving the site again back towards the east to go back to State,
Okay.
which is approximately about 1,600 feet linear distance from site to State.
Thank you. All right, any other questions for Nathan before we open up public hearing?
No,
All
not
right, thank you very much, Nathan.
Thank you.
And with that, we're going to go ahead and open up a public hearing. And I guess we can at least, you want to have the members of the public present comment first before the applicant? Yeah. Okay. I believe you wanted to make a public comment. If you can state your name up at the podium. And make sure the green light's on that microphone. Just so we can
Yes,
hear
it's
you.
on. My name's Daniel Robles. I live right there on the Devonshire. My concerns are the fact that they're going to be, this area right there is heavily trafficked by the police and by the ambulance companies that are right there located right on the other side of State. And the streets are not designed for big rigs. They're not really designed for 26-foot truck either, but they're definitely not designed for use for a big rig. And this can possibly cause an impediment, you know, for ambulances and police as they move forward with these, because these streets are not designed for a big rig. So you're in a residential neighborhood with residential streets. There's a lot of accidents that take place already. Right there on both Gilbert and Takowitz, there's no stops. There's no stops at either of those intersections. So you're going to have those problems. You're going to have commercial trucking between 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. in a residential neighborhood. There's the potential for blight right there at the lot that's being truncated from the existing property between the alleyway and the property over there. And 142 trips is a lot of traffic for what is already a heavily trafficked area. I don't believe that the study was truly reflective of the traffic right there in the area. You know, like I said, while I'm not questioning his source material, I do know that the source material that he got most likely did not have the local police station, the local ambulances and everything that run through all night already. It's a lot of potential hazards that are coming in, you know, by setting this up.
Okay, thank you very much. John, any other public comments before I have the applicant come up?
There are no other registered speakers, Chair.
Okay, and with that, we're going to go ahead and have the applicant approach the podium. Good evening, sir.
Russell Rumensoff, Herron and Rumensoff Architects, Chairman, members of the Commission. We've actually worked on this site probably since 1970, when we originally designed the medical office building that's there in the 70s. And then since that time, they developed a racquetball court. The original building was a Hemet racquetball court that went out of business when racquetball kind of went down in favoritism. So the building was empty, and then they sold it to this church, who pretty much gutted the building. They just demoed out the swimming pool, left a bunch of dirt in the back. It was just kind of a mess inside. But they took out a lot of the racquetball courts are gone. All the interiors are open now, big open spaces. And the site was pretty much abandoned at that point when the church left. So basically, what we were looking for was to reuse the site with something that would create employment for basically a lot of people in this area. And one of the ones was that in this area, Dosner Farms is growing organic, I would say condiments, if you want to call them condiments, in Val Vista. And this was ideal to have this kind of facility local in Hemet, so they weren't transporting, after they picked the product, they weren't transporting it long distances to, outside the area. They basically transporting it to the site those are the box trucks, those are the small trucks that are coming from the farm to the site to unload the product, where they're going to package it And then the distribution comes when the semis come in the early evening or early morning to take the product and then distribute it to the various areas, either taking it to the airport or wherever it needs to go for distribution. And that's pretty much the cycle of the traffic. Most of the traffic would be the employee traffic, the different, we're going to say, hours that the employees are coming and going to the site. We're not really adding anything onto the building. So in terms of the configuration of the site and the airspace around the site, it's pretty much going to stay the way it is now. So we're not really impacting, we want to say, views or anything else around the site. You can see that site, the way it's open now, is going to stay open the way it is. The only thing that we're really adding to the building is that small loading dock area on the far north side of the building at the northeast corner of the building. In terms of some of the comments about mitigation, in terms of the lights coming and going from the site, I think that's something that can be addressed and handled without a lot of work. Even with the wrought iron fence, we could put a mesh behind the fence and block it out completely, rather than having to count on landscaping. Which landscaping, to me, is always, it's good and it'll soften the fence. But I think the addition with landscaping and maybe a mesh behind the fence would definitely do what you wanted it to do in terms of mitigating, the traffic lights and things, truck lights. We do go through a lot of studies. It seemed like there was one study after another. I think this idea of this infill, and I think it's good that it is infill, that we're not just kind of reusing the site that was kind of abandoned, but we did go through all the studies, the traffic, the greenhouse gas, the I'm going to say the biological studies. I think more studies than I've gone through, and a lot of times from the city of Hemet for this type of project. So, and they all seem to come out that we were basically in compliance, that there were no red flags, that we were within the tolerances for all these studies, and basically that's how the negative declaration kind of meant something then, that we had even gone through the studies and we had the negative declaration. I think it would be an asset to the area rather than a detriment. I think providing the employment for the people that need that kind of employment, that they can employ, is going to be a benefit. And those people are going to be local. They're not going to be commuting from long distances. They're going to be local people that are going to be able to be employed here. And I think that's going to be a benefit for Hemet, not a detriment. We worked through staff for the last year and a half, trying to mitigate all these issues as best we could, and I think we did. And I think we can add some more mitigation if necessary for certain areas to kind of fine-tune it. I think overall that way it's a good project, and it's something that we were concerned about those things from the beginning, and I think we did our best in terms of mitigating it and locating where things are in the site, that this area that it's around, we were really not impacting Devonshire. Somebody mentioned Devonshire, but there is no access to Devonshire at all. At one time there might have been, they were planning on it, but there is no access to Devonshire. So, so I think all in all, I think, like I said, I think it works well for that site, what it needed to be, to make it work for the Dosner Farms also. The owner is here. She can describe, what Dosner Farms is and how they operate and what they do. And if you have any additional questions regarding the project, I'll be happy to answer them.
Any questions for the applicant, commissioners?
Yeah, I got a couple questions. Thank you for, investing in Hemet and trying to, open up a, distribution location. A couple of questions. How many semi-trucks do you guys estimate per day that are going to be used? Because it's not going to be all day, I imagine.
No, it's only the early morning hours. It's for distribution. There's no semi-trucks on the site at all.
Okay.
I mean, there's no storage of semi-trucks. They don't just sit there waiting.
Sure.
They come in just after things get packaged and they're ready for shipment, then they come in. And some of them might only be there for 5 minutes, 10
Okay.
minutes, because they're going to load a certain number of pallets onto that truck. They're not going to fill the truck. They're going to load a certain number of pallets wherever that truck is going. That's my understanding. In terms of numbers of trucks, I think the owner could probably answer that better than myself. But that's my understanding of the operation.
Okay.
That it's
Yeah, I'd love to hear the answer.
yeah,
if
it's
I
not
can.
it's not a loading dock situation where you have them sitting there for long periods of time. In fact, the trucks are refrigerated, but my understanding is they aren't even long enough to hook up.
Sure.
So,
Okay.
okay,
Yeah, so can I get that answer?
yeah,
Yeah, if she can come up, please.
yeah.
3 to 5.
Can you please
3 to
approach
5
the podium so that we can hear from,
Hi, good evening. My name is Sylvia Jackson, and I am the CEO of the company that does Organic Farms. So yeah, we have 3 to 5 summer trucks coming in the morning. Then probably 1 in the evening to load again before they leave. Not around probably 2 to 3 o'clock, and then that's it.
So
The other
like
one are
6?
just smaller boxes. Pretty much most of the product comes from the farm. There's next to Washburn, right next to it. So it's going to be a smaller truck, probably 20 to 24 feet.
Okay, so like, let's say 6-ish a day?
On the semi?
Yeah, yeah. Like
Max.
6? Okay.
Yes.
So I know that you said that you're going to increase the amount of employees during your season. What's considered your season? Christmas,
No,
summer?
holiday, yes.
Okay.
Starting Thanksgiving. So from November, we start in mid-October, so they get trained. Then from the mid-October to after Christmas, and then that's it.
So how many trucks do you go during the season?
This is probably will increase. We don't use a lot of semis. We do smaller trucks, bobtails, 26 foot. So it will be maybe another 3 a day.
Okay, so 10-ish, round up? Okay.
Yes.
Do you guys plan, you're not going to grow anything there, right?
No,
No.
that's not growing there. I just
Okay.
my daughter's gonna do a small presentation of how we work,
Okay.
how it works. So she says, Stephanie.
Sure.
Hello.
Hello.
Sorry. Good evening. It's not a presentation, it was just a few words.
Yeah.
So my name is Stephanie Aguirre, and my family owns and operates Dawson Organic Farms. We pack, we ship, and we distribute fresh organic herbs, culinary herbs. So if you bought anything like that looks like this from your local grocery store, it most likely came from our distribution center, and it was probably grown here in Hemet. We've been in business for 12 years. 2 years ago, we purchased a building here in the city of Hemet, and we, along with our employees, look forward to moving in and becoming a positive addition to the community. We're very active in the communities we serve. In partnership with the City of Commerce, Los Angeles, and other organizations, we've donated thousands of pounds of food to family in need. We organized food drives and delivered food directly to senior citizens in our community. During Thanksgiving and Christmas, we adopt a number of families and provide them with food, as well as items from their wish list. Every Christmas, our company collects toys and donates them to different organizations. I joined your local Chamber of Commerce 2 years ago when our sister farm began operating here in town. So that's the one that's by the Washburn. So that's Nature Delight Organics. I've had the chance to build strong connections within the city. Last Thanksgiving, we partnered with the local nonprofit, Black Voices of the Valley, that was distributing turkeys to 625 families in the city of Hemet. We donated all the vegetables needed for a full Thanksgiving dinner for those families. When San Jacinto High School Agricultural Department reached out to us for a donation for their silent auction, we were more than glad to donate a TV to support their program. We're looking forward to bringing our business to the city of Hemet and becoming an active part of this community and expanding our efforts to support the city in any way we can.
So that was my part. So is there any questions for me?
When you guys package this stuff, doesn't it get, so I know you have a wet room and a dry room. Does it get moist? Like, does it get like humid in the building?
No, we don't have a
No.
wet room.
Okay. Oh, I was just worried about, cause it's not like paint. I don't know if that, like, if it gets that like
No, so all of
moist in
that,
there.
so it's in the coolers. They're not wet. We don't process anything, so we're not washing anything. We don't cut anything. We don't do any of that. So the product that's coming from the farm, which would be a dream for it to be coming from 12 minutes up the road to our location, we don't even hold a lot of product. So we process daily. So it's farm fresh. So it's picked in the morning. It'll come to us, packaged that night, and it goes out.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Stephanie.
You're welcome.
No more questions for me.
Yeah. Thank you. It sounds like the business is growing, and this is the next step, so appreciate that. So my question is for Russell, and that is, we have a concerned citizen here, Daniel, who's talking about when you did your traffic analysis, he's concerned about the emergency services that are close by. Did that take into account in your analysis?
It didn't come up with specifically with the traffic engineer that there would be any kind of conflict that you would not typically have for services. Again, it isn't an ongoing operation. Like you said, there's 3 to 5 in the early morning for the shipping. So it's not constant. It's not ongoing constant in that area. I guess it didn't come up in the study.
Okay, so the trucks come, they don't park out on the street, they come right into the facility.
Yep.
Right away, they're not parked out on the street.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, appreciate it, thank you.
They're not parked on the street. They're not, and the only reason why I wanted 9 clarified, because when I read it today, because all this time, as you can see by like Monica said, Monique said, by the site plan, there's always been a truck on the site. And when I read this comment this morning, I thought, well, wait a minute, I just want to clarify this, that they're not in operation, they're not on the site, they're not stored on the site, but they do come to the site. Those 3 to 5 trucks will come to the site to be able to ship out. I just wanted to not necessarily delete that comment, but just kind of clarify it, that there would be trucks on the site. That's all.
Okay, thank you.
That was kind of the whole point of that comment.
Okay, appreciate it, thank you.
So just a question, will the members of the public be able to come in and purchase, or is this only just for purchase for
This is-
outsourcing to like larger?
This is just
facility-
packaging.
Just packaging?
Yeah, there's no retail.
So there won't be any other traffic?
No.
Just besides the employees and the trucks that are there?
No.
Okay. Will you be holding like an open house or like members of the community to come and maybe see what that looks like, what it will look like, just in case if it does go through, so that the community, like someone like
Yes,
Daniel
because
can
we
see?
wanted for them to feel comfortable and part of the, what we're doing, especially because we're trying to get our neighbors to be our employees also. You know, someone says, I know, I did some research, and I found out that some labor people has to go all the way to other cities, Moreno Valley, to Coachella Valley to work. So they're gonna just walk and go to work, you know. We have, at the farm, we employ a lot of the San Jacinto people, and some of the people that run this area, they go to work at the farm. So it's the same that we're trying to do the same thing with the warehouse. For the neighbors around to come and work, it will be very nice, you know, you don't have to travel. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Just curiosity on this, on these trucks that go out there, what would you say the weight is when they leave with the full load? 'Cause
Since
I know
it's-
Basil's very lightweight. It's
Yes,
not like
it
a
is
watermelon
it's
truck
very light.
leaving.
Yes, a truckload with if it's a truck, a semi takes 26 pallets of product, and it will be around probably about 8,000 pounds because it's very light. The herbs, or
Yeah.
we have clamshells like what Stephanie had on her hand. There's no way.
Yeah,
So
it's not like a
we
truck full
never
of
have an
watermelon.
issue with our trucks going through the scales because there's no way issues because it doesn't weigh a lot. Yes.
That's pretty much my only question there. I was just curious on the weight. Any other questions for?
Yeah, I got one more question. Can we pull up that picture again of the like the drone shot? Yeah, where do the trucks? So I see that you have two different driveways. Where are the big trucks planning on coming in from? Are they going to enter where that T intersection is, or are they going to enter right in front of those houses?
You're gonna enter kind of where,
Where that
Can you
where that
approach
white
the
car
podium,
is
the
parked?
microphone, please,
sorry.
just so that we can hear you.
Sorry. There's like a shadow on the street there,
Sure.
kind of in, maybe a little bit right of that shadow, but kind of in that area.
Okay.
Right there.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions before we?
No, I'm good.
All right. With that, we're gonna go. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
thank you.
We're gonna go and close public hearing and go to discussion. What does commissioners think? I think they agreed to doing a little bit of light blockage for your fence
Yeah.
for the neighbors.
I've written something down. It's kind of a complicated motion here, but I think I can get through it. Well, and see, this is the point I was trying to make with the CEQA thing is we can't really challenge the traffic report because it's CEQA exempt. So if we wanted to challenge it, we couldn't challenge it. So that's water under the bridge. But
I mean, it's great to see them, it's cool to see, the packaging can say, or, packaged in Hemet. No, if they are nationwide, someone's going to say, oh, where's Hemet at? Might
yeah,
gain a citizen or two, especially if they're doing 10 trucks during the season, eight pallets, 8,000 pounds of herbs. That's a lot of locations. It's cool to see them investing in the city. It's just that one condition of the semi trucks is they're exiting right in front of houses, and I know what they're saying. I know what this gentleman is saying, that it will. I mean, those lights are going to shine in their living room, but it's cool to see them, creating jobs and investing in the city, especially where I think that church sits empty right now. If I'm right, I'm sure it does. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna, you're gonna bring, yeah. So, and it's tricky. It is tricky for sure. It's good to see some,
progress.
maybe 85 jobs during their peak season, 65 off season. They said that one of their farms is located 12 minutes away. That gives them more overhead, or less overhead. I mean, yeah, it's cool to see them. Yeah.
Yeah, congratulations on
Yeah.
the increase of business there. Do you have anything, or you want me to go ahead and make the motion?
No,
No, I don't.
still a couple more people. I just kind of want to reflect back on the traffic. I remember when I was a kid, I used to go with my dad to the Hemet Racquetball Club all the time when I was a kid. And that parking lot was full. And it's throughout the day, they had people going to the gym and working and coming to and from the facility. So the 142 vehicles doesn't bother me per se, because the racquetball used to have that, I'm pretty sure, in a given day back in its time. The semi trucks, again, they're not full of watermelons where they're weighing down the streets as much. And I think we need more of this kind of stuff in our town to generate more business. And I think Deputy Director Papp has something to say. So I need to reopen the public hearing, or no? Or no? Okay. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to try to clarify a couple of points for you before you entertain a motion. I wanted to talk briefly about, since it came up a few times, about the special studies, and the project is exempt under CEQA. There are occasions when projects may appear to be exempt under CEQA, and I know the director talked about this a little bit, but I just wanted to add that in some cases, if we're not entirely sure if a project will have impacts, but it does otherwise qualify for an exemption, there are 5 exceptions that could disqualify a categorical exemption from occurring, and Director Monique went through those. I just wanted to state for the record that the reason that the special studies were prepared was so that we can ensure that none of those exceptions existed. So the The studies indicate that all of the potential impacts of the project are what are called screened out, meaning they are less than the thresholds that are directed by other regulatory agencies such as South Coast Air Quality Management District. Also, I wanted to point out that most of the vehicle trips coming into the site will probably utilize the existing drive aisle, which is directly across from Las Lunas Street. The only exception to that would be the tractor trailers, which would not be, that existing driveway is not wide enough to accommodate two-way traffic for a tractor trailer to come in and another vehicle to exit at the same time. Therefore, the 3 to 6 truck trailer trips would need to take the alternate route and exit that alternate route. So it's not like all of the 150 plus vehicle trips per day would be exiting directly across from those residences. It would be the tractor trailer trucks only. And I also wanted to point out briefly that it was mentioned about the truck routes and whether or not the trucks should be going up and down certain streets. Ideally, we would ask that the tractor trailer trucks go down a truck route, a designated truck route street. However, because they're also locally serving, a tractor trailer truck can go down any street they need to in order to get to the site. That's under the interstate commerce laws and movement of goods and services. So ideally, again, we would like to see them use those truck routes, but if a truck route was blocked due to an accident or some other emergency situation, they are in fact allowed to drive on any local street. But I want to make those clarifications before you entertain a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Papp.
Thank you very much, Deputy Director Papp. And with that statement, do we have any other questions or concerns, or can I entertain a motion?
I'll put forth a motion to adopt Planning Commission Resolution Attachment Number 1, approving Administrative Use Permit 24-001 and Lot Line Adjustment 24-002, subject to conditions of approval Exhibit 1A and Development Plans Exhibit 1B. 2, direct staff to file a notice exemption with the county clerk and the state clearinghouse. 3, add a conditional use to mitigate the headlights to the adjacent residential houses. 4, eliminate CUP number 9 for truck size.
I will second that motion. It's removal of condition number 9.
The COA.
COA.
Oh, COA number 9.
I second that.
I have a motion by Commissioner Hill and a second by Chair Beamsterfer. We're going to do a roll call. Commissioner Viramontes?
Yes.
Commissioner Hill?
Yes.
Commissioner Barahona?
Yes.
Chair Beamsterfer?
Yes.
That motion passes 4-0.
Congratulations, guys. And just on a side note, too, I know the city of Hemet, if you want to reach out to them as well, they're working on a community gardens, and something we can probably reach out to them as well and work with the city, because we really want to get people like you in Washburn and Petisa Creek and all these different herb growers to participate. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So much.
Okay, and we will now take department reports, followed by the adjournment. Item 8A, City Attorney Leo Suari.
Thank you, Chair. I'll be giving a brief overview of just one of the bills that I presented not too long ago. Actually, it was several months ago. But this one in particular is Senate Bill 330, also known as the Housing Crisis Act of 2019. SB 330 was passed to address California's ongoing housing crisis, which is defined by high cost, low supply, and rising homelessness. A couple of key provisions to include and to keep in mind is that it applies to housing projects with at least 2 units, mixed-use developments with residential majority, and transitional or supportive housing. It is also a streamline of approval by limiting local governments from downzoning, imposing moratoriums, or adding new restrictions that reduce housing capacity. It accelerates permits, requiring cities to process applications quickly and limiting public hearings down to 5. It also establishes vested rights through preliminary applications, locking in rules and fees at the time of filing. It also, and it protects affordable housing by requiring one-for-one replacement of demolished or converted units. Now, these are just summary of the key provisions. There are some restrictions. For example, projects cannot remove protected units without replacement, and SB 330 cannot be used in very high fire hazard severity zones. Two recent laws that strengthen SB 330. One of them is AB 1886, clarifies that projects retain vested rights even when housing elements are later certified. AB 1886 was passed into law in 2023, clarifies that submitting an SB 330 application before housing element certification vests a project's entitlement to use the builder's remedy even after the housing element is certified. The next recent law that strengthened SB 330 is SB 8. This one extended SB 330's protections through 2028. Initially, it was expired in January 1st, 2025, but it extended out a couple of years. So in short, SB 330 and its companion bills are central tools in California's push to increase housing supply, preserve affordability, and prevent local governments from blocking projects.
Interesting.
Thank you. Yay.
Thank you very much. 8B, Community Development Reports, Director Monique.
Thank you, Chair. Just a reminder to the commission that we do have a planning commissioner training on Thursday evening.
13th?
This Thursday, the 4th. I will send out confirmations. If you have not received confirmation from the organization, please let me know, and I'll make sure that you are confirmed. We did register all planning commissioners for this training on Thursday evening.
I have not received anything.
Okay.
I don't think any of us have.
Okay.
I don't think any of us have received any emails.
Okay, thank you. I will make sure that you receive your confirmations.
Okay.
Thank you.
And how about a future agenda items, Director Monique?
Yes, thank you. For future agenda items, we do have McDonald's drive-through CUPM 25-001 coming forward in the next Planning Commission meeting. We do have a presentation from our Public Works Engineering Department for Simpson Elevate Modernization Strategy. And we have also an extension of time for the Latham Senior Apartments, which was approved a few years ago, and the use and reliance on the request has been obtained, and we have a property owner who is wishing to develop, to continue to develop it. It'll be coming forward to the Planning Commission for the extension of time. And that concludes my future agenda items.
All right, and the last, the Planning Commissioner's report, Director Monique.
Commissioner Viramontes,
I have nothing to report.
Commissioner Barahona,
Nothing to report at this time.
Commissioner Hill,
Nothing, thank you.
and Chair Beamsterfer.
And nothing to report. There be no further business to discuss. This meeting will be adjourned to the next Planning Commission meeting scheduled for September 16th, 2025 at 6 p.m.